For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen. Well, for former Loper men's basketball standout Ty Danielson, he is on the move again. He has accepted an assistant coaching position with the men's basketball program at North Dakota. And as you might expect, he's pretty excited to be headed up north.
No, over the top excited, no question. I'm thrilled to get to Grand Forks.
How about this journey to get to North Dakota? How did this all come about?
Yeah, so it's been since I left Nebraska Kearney. I've been in the conference twice at two other institutions, which has been great for me, staying in the conference, my familiarity with the league, obviously. And then I was out at Fort Lewis College in Colorado for 3 years. We had a really good 3 years. And honestly, just feel like I'm to the point where I'm ready for the next challenge. I've had a lot of success the last few years in Division II, and this opportunity came for Division I. And I just feel like it's the time in my life where I'm ready for that challenge and going to hit it full on.
You're still a pretty young guy, but I would assume it probably goes along with the career and the territory, but you're probably a pretty good packer and a mover at this point, aren't you?
I've gotten a little used to it for sure. It doesn't take me as long as the first time. I know that.
How about this last year? That had to be just a super experience to be a part of what the guys accomplished there at Washburn.
Truly. I mean, those 3 games, those regional games, we were, as sold out as it gets. They weren't letting people in after, 20 minutes before the game. I've never been a part of anything like that. And, it was 3 straight nights for our guys. There's not an experience like that in college basketball. Division I, Division II, Division III, I don't care. We had a sold-out crowd. It was loud. We won by 20-plus all 3 games. It was just for our team, really, just those guys that chose to stick around. The transfer portal world. We had a few 4th, 5th-year seniors that stayed loyal to coach and stayed at Washburn. And so for them to reap that seed at the end of it, I think as a coach, that's probably the most special part, is just seeing those guys that have stuck it out and, they earned that.
What's this mean to you to get a Division I gig?
Honestly, for me, it's bigger than just the Division I side. My brother played here for 5 years. He's the all-time leader in games played at North Dakota. I walked in the gym for the first time, and there was a picture hanging of him up in the wall. And, I got a little emotional about that. He spent 5 years up here. We lost Dad. The community of Grand Forks was great to us. It was great to my brother. Was great to my family. They did an event towards the end of my dad's journey, and it was packed. They were all wearing Dad's shirts. And so just the whole community, it's more than just a Division I thing for me. I think it's just the opportunity to work for Coach Sather, who my dad really respected, and just the full circle moment.
When did this job open up?
Yeah, so their assistant coach took the Minot State head job maybe like a month ago. And so me and Coach Sather had been talking back and forth probably for about a few weeks, just trying to sort out all the details and when it could finally be official.
Do you know at this point maybe what your duties with the program will be?
So I think a lot of things defensively I'm going to hang my hat on. I think I brought a few ideas to Washburn that we had some success in year one. I think that's something that Coach Sather definitely wants to adapt to, be a little more aggressive on the defensive end, throwing some traps, ball screen-wise like we had the last few years. And so that's probably the most exciting thing for me is that, I'm going to have an opportunity to coach. It's not going to be, where I'm just coming up there to learn and listen to a lot of things. I'm going to hit the ground running, teaching, and coaching. And so that's, for me, the biggest challenge and biggest opportunity that I'm looking forward to.
As an assistant coach in this day and age and where the game is at, what's it like trying to recruit these kids?
It's changed for sure a lot. I think a lot of times, especially in today's world with the transfer portal, how fast recruiting is, there's a lot of transactional recruiting, a lot of, paying for players, whatever it is. And that's kind of how I've got my niche in recruiting. Is early on in the relationship, they're going to know that it's not transactional with me. I care more about them. I'll drive to see them, talk to family members, just all the things that, maybe other coaches don't go to the lengths to do. I think I've had success, kind of doing that, making sure it's a player first. And they kind of know that relationship is number one. So that's probably the main thing, is just making sure relationships are solid, because if not, especially anymore, they'll leave you or they'll look for the next opportunity.
And it sounds like you've already hit the ground running. You're already trying to recruit this summer.
Yes, sir. I'm in KC right now, actually about to go recruit here in a few hours. So it's ground full running, and I'm excited.
Well, what an exciting time for you, and I'm sure you probably heard from some folks that you've dealt with in the past.
Oh, no question. Yeah, a lot of my old teammates too at Kearney, just staying in touch and hit me back up. It's been good to keep in touch with all those guys, and especially when something like this happens, you hear from a lot of people. So it's been good the last 24 hours hearing from a lot of people for sure.
That was former Loper standout and York native Ty Danielson, who has just steadily worked his way up the coaching ladder, now an assistant at North Dakota. And he knows all about the program after his younger brother Brady had a great run there as a player from 2019 through 2024. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen. For the Rural Radio Network, I'm Jayson Jorgensen. Then take Amherst High School along to find its next head boys basketball coach, former Loper star and former assistant coach at Kearney High and former Wood River head coach Connor Beranek will now be leading the Broncos, and he talks about taking over this program this offseason.
It's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. It was always a job that was kind of, I thought I'd be interested in if it ever came open. I actually student taught there, really had a good connection with a lot of the kids that now would be in high school based on when I was there teaching PE in elementary. So it's really cool to see how they've matured over the last, 4 to 5 years since I was there. And obviously I don't know them great. Just got to come up there this morning and, get to chat with them a little bit and get to know them a little bit more this morning. But with the timing and all this, it's not ideal, not getting to have most of June to be able to build those relationships and kind of build some camaraderie on the court and all that stuff. But, we'll kind of get after it here the last week or so of June and then maybe do a few things in July and continue to build on those things into the fall and then into the winter season.
How about the timing of this? As you mentioned, this isn't normally when someone moves into a position like this. What's that been like trying to get everything to line up?
Yeah, so it obviously isn't ideal with the timing, but I do understand where he was coming from, and so I'm just excited for the opportunity. But the good thing that I have going for myself is it's a pretty established program. They've done things the right way for the past couple years, and they've had a lot of success, and they got kids that, enjoy being a part of the basketball team. And so there's not a whole lot of things that I need to come in and, probably need to do a ton in the summer because they've got a lot of things that they've established over the past and have built a good program these last few years. So just continuing to do it some of the ways that they've done it in the past and then continue to have my own little imprint on it and, make it a great experience for the kids. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Well, it has to just seem like a great opportunity to step into a program that's really had a lot of success the last several years.
Yeah, so it's like I said before, it's one of those jobs that I was kind of keeping my eye on just in case it ever did open up. I love living in Kearney. I'll continue to live in Kearney and, commute over there, which honestly, my house to Kearney High is about the same distance as my house to Amherst, so it's not that much of a difference when it comes to the drive. So that won't be much of a change, but it was always one of those jobs that I was kind of looking forward to if it ever did come open, just because when I was there, the kids that I had or was around was just a great group of kids and tough, competitive kids that like to do a lot of different things. And it just seemed like a great mold of kids that I would look forward to coaching and continuing to improve and hopefully have a great high school experience for them. So,
was this a tough decision? I would assume you really enjoyed teaching and coaching at Kearney, too, with your brother Drake.
Yeah, I went back and forth many times whether I wanted to take the job or, stay in Kearney just because I have a lot of great connections, a lot of great staff connections, student connections, all sorts of stuff. So this group that Kearney High has is a really tight-knit group, and it was a really fun group to get to know, for the 3 weeks of June. And they really played they made it really hard for me to make that decision. There was always that inkling that I wanted to kind of get back and, become a head coach and be able to run my own program. But those guys at Kearney High made it really difficult for me to, really make this move. Even the kids at Sunrise. So I was teaching at Sunrise Middle School, and, the kids that I got to teach at Sunrise made it a very, very difficult decision for me. And, I just felt like the timing, it just kind of made sense, and this job doesn't always come up all the time. So I just kind of had to sit down and make a pros and cons list, and it just seemed like it was a good fit for me and my family.
And you got to like the fact that you're coming to a school and you're coming to a great league. The Fort Kearney Conference is known for good basketball.
Yeah, I just when I was there as a student teacher, I got to kind of just talked to Coach Rippon while I was there, but just seeing it from afar, I've known that it's a pretty good league and, a lot of really cool gyms that you get to play in, and it seems like a really good league when it comes to community support as well. So, just the atmospheres that you get to play in and the big games that you get to play in just makes the overall high school experience a lot better for our kids. And that's all I really want to give back to our kids. I was very blessed when it came to my high school experience, and hopefully I can continue to, help out in any ways to, maybe it's not success based on state championships or whatever, but, just give those kids the opportunities that, I've been able to have my high school career or other kids that I've coached up to this point. That's all it's really about is, those guys, it's their experience. I just want to be a part of it, guide them in any way that I can or help them get to, some of the goals that they have set for themselves. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is just getting to coach them and getting to know these kids and hopefully get them to a place that they never really thought they could get to by themselves.
And there you have the thoughts of new Amherst Boys Basketball coach Connor Beranek, as this will be his second stint as a head coach. It's been a year as a head coach at Wood River before joining back with forces with his older brother Drake as an assistant at Kearney High. And once again, Connor Beranek will teach PE as well in Amherst as he replaces Eric Rippon. For the Rural Radio Network, I'm Jayson Jorgensen.